Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Sarah Menke-Fish. I'm a professor in the School of Communication and also Senior Director of Experiential Learning for the School of Communication. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 2023 New York Career Intensive. And Julia Beyer, let you introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good semester so far. We're excited to ramp up for the 2023 New York Career Intensive. I can't believe that year is coming up around the corner. And so we're just going to share all the information we have at this point about the trip itself and the process. And we're just excited to share all the information that can be helpful to you.
Fantastic. So the application is already up and available for you. You can go to the SOC Experiential website to find that, and we'll show that also at the end. But let's go to the next screen.
One highlight is hard to pick. For one, I got a lot out of learning more about the communication field.
I've learned so much about what it's like to actually put a communications degree into practice.
And now I have a list of people I'm going to email while I'm on the train home.
The benefit is you have people that are warm, open, sharing because they're either AU or SOC alums, and that, I think, can't be touched.
So that gives you a little flavor of the New York Career Intensive. It's going to be taking place on March 12th and 13th of this coming year of 2023. We'll start on a Sunday evening, March 12th, and have a gathering with a dinner and meet some young alums that will share a little bit of their story and how they've gotten started in New York and what they're doing there. Tonight, we want to go over a little bit with introductions, history and trip overview, purpose, past site visits, how to apply, trip policies and student responsibilities to do, to keep in mind, and then all of your questions and answers. Again, I'm Sarah Menke-Fish, and Julia Beyer is here with us from the Career Center. This is Tori Powell. She tells a little bit of her story of being a participant in the New York Career Intensive.
Hi everyone, my name is Tori B. Powell and I'm an undergraduate senior at AU studying journalism and minoring in Spanish. The New York City Career Intensive last year for me was a really influential and important tool because of the connections that I made and the people that remembered me. These people that you're going to meet at this program know other people and most likely know the people that you want to get in touch with. So it's really important for networking. You know, it landed me a part-time job at the School of Communications, writing social media and feature articles and covering events. And then through an event that I was covering, I met someone at CNN who then referred me to someone else. And I ended up getting an internship at CNN with Jake Tapper. So that's what I mean, that this is a really good stepping stone to get in touch with people in this industry. So apply this year because this is a really amazing program. So good luck, and I know you're going to kill it.
Tori is now has graduated, is working successfully in her career, and will have a chance with the participants who will be selected for the New York Career Intensive. You'll have an opportunity to meet and learn more from Tori and the work she's doing now.
And she's currently at CBS News. She's a live news reporter and editor. So just a little bit of the history and trip overview. We are into our 20th year of the trip, and it's sponsored by 3 different departments, the Career Center, the School of Communication, and the Office of Development and Alumni Relations. Sarah, I think this is one thing I might have missed when I was updating the slides. I think we're up to now 20 participants from 15. Is that correct?
It just depends on our cohort. We're open to selecting 15 to 20.
Okay, 15 to 20 who are your fellow undergraduate or graduate students who have a major or minor in the School of Communication and have an interest in the communication and media field.
So the purpose, of course, is for you to explore and think about academic professional interests and career opportunities. You're going to gain some industry and company insights so that you can be more competitive and really have a sense of what's going on and what's the latest trends or details that are taking place. You'll start to network with alumni and employers in New York City, and you will build professional relationships with New York City employers. This will be a chance for you to say, hey, is New York City where I really want to land after I graduate? Is that the city, the venue where I want to start my career?
Yeah, and I'd like to add that this is great for students who are still exploring, all the way through students who kind of have a clearer idea of what they want to do. So it's just wonderful exposure to these high-level media organizations and all the different types of roles that they have related to communications.
In the past, we've gone to CNN, AMC, Mike Worldwide, Nickelodeon, and a variety of other locations as well, from the Wall Street Journal to CBS to NBC, MTV, a host of locations. And as we decide where we're going to be going this year, we've already coordinated the beginning of some of our visits, but we'll also be taking a look at, hey, who's in our cohort and what are they interested in and what would be a good match for them.
This is a sample schedule from 2022. Welcome dinner Sunday evening. Then there were a couple site visits on Monday. I think, Sarah, you can go in a little more, bit more detail because I wasn't able to join you on this trip.
No, but it turned out this, of course, was our first trip back from COVID. And so it had some limitations as to which places we could go on location to. Chelsea Williamson from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, we had an office space that we had rented, a conference room. And so Chelsea joined us at that location, and she really gave some fabulous insights of the experience that she's had at The Daily Show and working with Trevor Noah. And then at 11 o'clock, Jason Gold from AMC came in. And of course, he has worked on some of TV's most popular series, such as Mad Men, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, The Killing, Hell on Wheels. He's now vice president of production at television at Network AMC. We then broke for lunch. Students have a chance to go have some lunch on their own. We'll make some suggestions as to where they might go. And then from 2 to 4, we were over at Mike Worldwide, one of the most prestigious PR firms, and really involved in doing some cutting edge work. Not only they're based out of New York, but they have offices in the UK and Chicago and Washington, D.C. It is their headquarters. And Mike, of course, graduated from American University. Jason graduated from American University. Chelsea graduated from American University. And we had Allison Camerata, who is also a graduate of American University. She is an American broadcast journalist and political commentator. She co-hosts CNN Newsroom from 2 to 4, but right now she is involved at night and getting ready for election coverage that she is online on CNN, so you can watch her during the evenings. She formerly was anchor of CNN's morning show, The New Day, and a presenter at Fox News. And she graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism. So we have some fabulous alums. And of course, we had a number of young alums that joined us, including Sydney Baldwin, who is a CNN publicist and AU alum, and some other young alums that joined us for that evening dinner. And we've got quite a few young alums already lined up to join us for dinner this year on Sunday. Monday, we'll probably make a little switch up, and we may have an early morning breakfast guest that joins us, and then we'll go from our day from there. It's a very full day. This is during spring break, and so what this allows you to do is have your Sunday and Monday and then the rest of your spring break to travel from New York City, wherever you are headed for your spring break activities, or stay in New York City and explore the city further during that week.
It's a jam-packed schedule. That's why it's called the intensive, right?
Yes, we go nonstop.
So we have a little pop quiz here. Which of the following is not a purpose of the New York City Career Intensive site visit? To meet professionals in my field, to learn about communications and business employers in New York City, to develop your networking skills in a professional context, or to get a job offer by March 30th. If you could put your answer in the chat. D, yay, everybody got it. Yay. Purpose of the trip is not to get a job offer. You never know where your networking connections can lead, and it could lead to a potential job offer down the road. And be open to that, because that has happened before. You know, somebody I think got a job at MWWPR through the trip because she connected with Mike through LinkedIn and followed up about an opportunity. So that definitely can happen.
Eligibility requirements: you need to be an AU undergrad grad student majoring or minoring in communication and interested in pursuing a career in marketing, advertising, public relations, journalism, television, film, or a related field of communication. You're all eligible to participate. Students need to be in good academic and judicial standing, a 2.5 GPA or higher. We're going to verify your GPA and academic standing via the AU portal. Submit all required application materials, a resume and a statement of purpose. And you need to be a current student in the spring and must have clearance of all class registration restrictions and be a student in good standing with AU. So unfortunately, any students who are graduating in December, you are not eligible to participate in the New York Career Intensive. You are eligible to participate in the LA Intensive.
How to apply? So you are going to apply through Qualtrics, beginning, it's already begun. On October 3rd at 9 a.m. and it'll be closing on Tuesday, October 18th by noon. You're going to be submitting two documents, a resume as well as a statement of purpose in 600 words or less. The statement of purpose in 600 words, what you can include is, of course, your name and preferred email address at the top. Give us an idea of what motivates you, a little bit about who you are, where you see yourself going, what you'd like or hope to get out of the program, kind of tying that into what your goals are overall, and describe what you have to offer that makes you stand out as somebody who will make the most of the experience. So what we're concerned about with this is you go as a representative of AU on the trip. The AU alumni who are hosting us are responsible for making a positive impression on us, and then we're also responsible for making a positive impression on them and maintain really good relationships with them for all future trips and all future students who want to participate in this. So that's why it's so critical that we want you all to be very enthusiastic and upbeat and excited about this trip, and just keep in mind that you are a representative of American University.
So you'll be notified of your acceptance no later than November 15th. And then what happens after you've been accepted? We'll have a New York Career Intensive meet and greet on Zoom in early December. You'll submit a $100 non-refundable trip fee. It's cash, credit, or debit. Attend the pre-departure orientation on Zoom. Right now, it's scheduled for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, February 15th. But of course, if we find that a number of students have class on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., then we'll change the date. Consent forms need to be, of course, completed and submitted to your trip leaders. And you'll submit your approved resume to the resume book. And there'll be more information to come if revisions are needed. I highly recommend that before you submit your application, you have your resume reviewed by either Julia in the Career Center or Felicia Parks. They're fantastic, and they really get your resumes to just zing. And it's great, even if you were not to be accepted into the program, it's wonderful to have a fabulous looking resume that's ready to go. And we put those all together in a resume in a book, and it's a fabulous portfolio that we share with all the people in New York that has your resume, your photo, your bio, a little bit of information about who you are, and they keep those and refer back to them and share them with other people in New York City who may be looking for someone who's headed to New York. And so we'll show you examples of those as well when you've been accepted into the program. So your resume is not a cookie cutter of everybody else's. It should really represent you and who you are. Clearance, of course, of all class registration restrictions is the last component of acceptance to the program.
I love that, Sarah. We make the resumes zing.
You do make them sing. Yeah,
Oh.
attendance is mandatory at every site. Obviously, if you're coming to New York on the trip, nobody wants to hear, oh, I have an interview at such and such a place, or I'm going to meet a relative for lunch at such and such a time. May I leave early? You've been accepted to the program. We expect you to participate on time in all of the site visits. And it's interesting. Students will sometimes say, well, I don't really see how what I'm interested in connects in with CNN. And then they'll go and they'll find out, wow, I don't have to be a broadcast journalism major. There are so many different areas of opportunities at an employer like CNN that may tailor to my major and my interests as well. We ask you to try to be 15 minutes early for each site visit. You'll need to bring a government issued ID and your COVID vaccination card. We'll keep you updated if the COVID vaccination cards are still needed this next year, but we're just putting it in there for now to let you know. We'll meet in the lobby, and if late, don't enter the employer's office after the group has left the lobby. Make a professional impression. You can talk a little bit more about that, Julia.
Sure. So business attire, and think of this as like almost like you're getting dressed for an interview. You want to make your best first impression, and ideally a business suit would work very well. You do want to wear comfortable shoes because you'll be walking a lot from visit to visit, depending on how many sites you do go to during the day. So plan for comfort, but also a professional look. And then I'm just going to be the one who's going to be the point of contact to review your resume. So you will be hearing from me. I will offer feedback, and then we'll remind you of the deadline to get the resume back to me in order to have it included in the resume book. This is just some business attire do's, professional slacks or skirt or jacket or blazer, or a tie, and just giving you a few ideas of what you can do with professional attire.
So you'll complete a consent release form. We'll get all that to you once you've been accepted to the program. You will need to arrange your transportation and accommodations. We'll be letting you know where the dean and Julia and Louisa Imperiali from AU Development will be joining us as well. And we'll let you know where we're going to be staying, so that if you wish to book your hotel accommodations at one of the places where we're staying, you're welcome to do so, and then get together to share expenses and share a room with someone. Of course, you're welcome to stay when you're in New York City. A lot of people have friends and family, other connections where they want to stay, and that's perfectly fine in New York. We'll ask you to research the companies as well as our site visits, hosts, and presenters so that you know a little bit about them. And you'll regularly check your email in the closed Facebook group for updates. Also, most likely I'll set up a WhatsApp group because that seemed to work out very nicely in New York last year in case there was a sudden change or someone was missing or someone's Uber was running a little bit late. They just let us know through the WhatsApp group so that we could all communicate clearly together. But this is a chance now to answer your questions and see what you'd like to know, what you'd like to have answered this evening about the trip. Applications are active now. If you go into if you just Google the AU SOC Experiential, you'll find our website, and you'll see on there a whole list of all kinds of experiential opportunities that we have. You can go click into New York, and it'll take you right to the application and how to apply right from there. Catherine, hi.
Hi, I hope you guys are doing well tonight. I have a quick question. So I'm a junior undergrad, and as a freshman during the virtual year of 2021, I was a part of the New York Intensive. I was wondering if that disqualifies me for applying for the in-person one.
Absolutely not. Nobody's disqualified.
Awesome.
So if you participated in the virtual one, we're so thrilled that you did. And now it's time to go there for real.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. The cost is $100. If anybody has scholarship needs, you can apply for scholarships as well. Yes, Brian.
So it looked like the people who attend the program arrange their own accommodations. Will there be like a recommended place to stay where people will tend to group up?
Yes, in fact, we had that last year, and that was one of the things that the students asked about last year was they'd like to stay, some of them wanted to stay where I was staying or where the dean was staying. And so we're going to share that information with you very early on. As soon as we get our cohort selected, we're going to have our accommodations already reserved. And then you can decide, hey, I don't know anybody in New York, I want to stay there as well. Julia has a recommendation also for a small hotel that was fairly reasonable in price. Did you put that in the chat, Julia?
I put the link to the Experiential website in the chat, but yes, I will also put a link to a hotel called the Pod Hotel. I don't know if anybody has ever stayed at one of the Pod hotels, but it's got centrally located in Times Square, and usually our site visits are somewhere around that area, and it's extremely reasonable. The last time I was in New York in January 2020, right before the pandemic literally hit, there was a fire drill, and we went down the stairs, and the person standing right behind me was one of the other students on the program. So small world, but it's a more reasonable place you can reserve for a night or two in New York.
And what we found was we had some students last year that grouped up together and stayed in a hotel near where we were staying. And they found it to be very reasonable in price that way when they could share rooms.
Great, thank you.
So the cost, what does that $100 cover? That pays for your dinner in New York on that Sunday evening, breakfast on Monday, assuming we can get the venue where I want to have breakfast, but otherwise we'll have something catered in for breakfast. You'll be on your own for lunch. Believe it or not, any rental of venues and locations where we're going to be staying, that's what that $100 will go toward. It does not cover any of my expenses, the dean's expenses, Julia's expenses, or Louisa's expenses. Our expenses are all covered within the university, not out of any of your funds of what you pay for the trip. And generally, there's also been some extra financial support that's come from the dean's office to support the above and beyond the $100 that we paid for the trip for each student. Other questions?
Abigail has a question.
Great,
Yeah.
Abigail.
It's nice to meet you all. So I'm a freshman. I was just wondering if freshmen are really considered for this, since like we won't have a college GPA until like December. So I'm just wondering how that works, or if like freshmen are really considered for this.
Well, generally, we ask you to think about this when you're more probably in your junior year or senior year. But hey, it doesn't hurt to apply. You could always apply and get a chance to hone your skills in that regard and get some feedback. But I will be honest with you that, of course, I'm being honest with you on everything. It is unlikely for a first-year student to be selected.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. One quick tip on your essay. Don't state in there that you want to go to New York because you've never been to New York and you'd like to do some sightseeing in New York. You can do some sightseeing in New York after the trip is over, but that shouldn't be the primary motivation for why to go to New York. It should be connected in more with your career aspirations and interests. Any other questions? Well, on behalf of Julia, I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we hope that you have found this to be informative. Of course, if you have questions, you can call me anytime on my cell phone or text me 301-537-5060. That is my cell phone. My office phone is 202-885-2026, and that rings directly to my cell phone as well, 24/7. Happy to answer any questions that you may have along the way.